Hey, I'm trying to find something to set this on. Okay, I always do that. I always start the video before I'm actually quote unquote ready to start the video. That's okay. Sorry I'm on so late. Usually when I plan to do a live, which I did plan this live, my daughter decides, you know what? I'm not gonna go to sleep until much later. And so I've been waiting for her to go to sleep and she hasn't yet. So I just decided, you know what? Fuck it. Whoever lets their child decide what they will and will not be doing with their life. Yes or no? I don't know. Okay, tell me you're here. I'm just going to go on to TikTok and tell people who wanted to know about this live stream to come on over because I'm on. Okay. Who's here? Say hello. Hi, Ashley. Okay, this is a long awaited conversation because people have been asking me on TikTok, what's the difference between a light worker and a shadow worker? Because I do a lot of content geared towards shadow workers for the reason that I want people who are caught in the light working sphere to realize that it is not the only thing out there, okay? And I do not consider myself all the way a shadow worker. I would prefer shadow worker over light worker, but I do go by the label of chaos worker or dark worker these days, okay? So the reason is because I feel that the evolution from being a light worker or a shadow worker has taken place inside of me. And so I'm no longer considering myself or labeling myself as a shadow worker. But I do believe that it is like an evolutionary process where light working is where you are sort of awakening to your power. You're awakening to the realization that, I wonder how I turn this off. My Discord sounds. Join us in Discord if you're not there. Go to blackflamealchemy.com/social and you can find our Discord stuff. So then you can join the Discord. Let me see if I can just oh, maybe I should just close it completely then. Okay, there. Anyway, so yeah, like I was saying, I have like a hair right here. I cannot find it. Okay, like I was saying, yeah, light working is like where you're first awakening to the idea that you are a spirit in a body, right? Like you're awakening to the idea that love is the key, that love is the answer, that unity is the ultimate goal, the union with source, where you see yourself in everybody and you don't you're starting to begin the journey of non-judgment, and you're beginning to see that there's no separation between you and the person next to you, or you and the person that you're hating, or you and the person that you're judging, where you're really practicing alignment with the truth of love and gratitude and all of these lightweight topics, right? All the things that make us feel really good, right? And then you get to a certain part in your journey where that's really not fulfilling anymore. You get to a certain place in your journey where you still feel like there's more, that you've been practicing it long enough, that maybe you even started doing like intentional manifestation and you're having a really hard time with the way that people traditionally teach manifestation techniques, right? And for people who are naturally coded to be light workers, those types of techniques work for them. I'm so happy that you're here for this. um, they're coded for the laws that are in place to work the way that they do. However, for some of us, the trauma that we hold is so deep seated. And I'm talking about generational trauma, and I'm also talking about inherited, um, like inherited blueprints, right? So you have either incarnated lifetime after lifetime after lifetime learning the same lessons and never remembering that you signed up for this experience, and somehow you got stuck in the trauma. That trauma in whatever lifetime or maybe in your family line was so deep and so wounded that you have been, up until this point, unable to escape it. Okay. And so it keeps manifesting for you, regardless of what you put your thoughts on, right? Regardless of if you think happy thoughts or if you write 1,000 things that you're grateful for, like every single day. No matter how non-judgmental you are, there's still a hole in you. There's still something that feels like it needs to be filled. And this is where a lot of people will either go back into their cycle of living close eyed, asleep, but still in the back of their mind, remembering that I know this stuff. I know that I'm a spirit. Like, I know this. But then they keep living their life like they're not. And so they'll completely get out of like spirituality and try and go back and do normal life the way that they had before, and then they'll stay stuck in that same pattern. And then on the other hand, there are people who decide, you know what, I'm going to see what this is all about. I'm going to face my trauma. I'm going to begin to do shadow work, and I am going to work this out. Okay. So a light worker can still do shadow work and be a light worker. Okay. A light worker has to do shadow work too, because you're clearing the collective shadow. You're not just clearing it for yourself, but you're clearing it for your generations before you too, like your lineage. A lot of us are like black sheeps or weirdos of the family. And what I believe is that in every family, like probably one per generation, a person like a black sheep type person, even if they're light, love and light type of black sheep, they're different than their family. And I believe that every one of the black sheeps has the opportunity to be the healer of the family, to clear the lineage. But whether they answer that call or not is totally up to them, obviously. So anyways, a light worker will do shadow work. Maybe they'll say, I'm doing shadow work right now. And it'll be like, one time every 6 months. And they'll do like a whole heap of shadow work where they're looking at rejected aspects of themselves, which is what shadow work is. It's where you've rejected aspects of yourself, whether it was, whenever you were small and you thought that you had to, hold on, let me put my phone on the charger. Maybe you were little and you learned that kids are to be seen and not heard. And so you took a vow inside of your body that says, I cannot be seen or heard. And so you have like a message inside of you and you just want to put it out to the world. But because you have this vow in your body that it's not safe to be seen or heard, you are going to keep yourself safe and small and quiet and invisible, and you're never going to let anybody see your true colors. Oh, good. I already knew that. Like, nobody ends up here because they're not the black sheep, right? Like, yeah, I'm glad that you recognize it in yourself. So yeah, I'm going to take this vow. You do it unconsciously. It's a survival mechanism. That's what the shadow is. It's survival. It's like codes of survival that humanity has been blueprinted with. So like, because back before we had all of this technology, we had to live tribally. We had to live in tribes of people and like communities and stuff. And that's also why I like kind of side with anarchy, which is more like, hi, more like, um, a self-governing body, right? So like a tribe of like 150 people or 100 people or 80 people that is self-governing. Everybody has a role, everybody has a purpose, right? The crazy ones in our society are considered crazy, but in tribes, if we were broken down to be the size that we're supposed to be as humans living in a tribal consciousness, those would be the shamans, those would be the healers, right? Those would be still of use, it would be practical use, and they would be, the medicine men or women. Everybody has a purpose, right? But we don't live like that today. And therefore, our consciousness needs to adjust to this rapid growth of technology. And so, what we need to do is to be able to unhook from the tribal consciousness, the tribal mentality of needing to survive, because it's simply not true anymore. It is not true anymore. Okay. So, I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. So essentially what they'll do is they'll look at, once every 3 months or so, do shadow work. And they'll look at, this is how I used to do it, was like, what am I judging in others, right? I already made a video about this. It's on my channel. You can go find it. It's called like where to start with shadow work. And after this, after it uploads, I will link it in the cards. So just click on the eye if you want to go watch that. So you look at how you're judging other people. And the best way, like our shadow, can really only be seen in response to in response to others. Like we see the rejected aspects of ourselves through the way that we're judging other people's actions, behaviors, or states of being. And it's just, that's an easy way to see what your shadow is. It's what you're triggered by, what you're judging, what you absolutely fucking hate in other people. That is your shadow. That's rejected aspects of self. Because if we're going back to the light worker standard of like, yeah, we're all one. I am you, you are me, I am she, like all of those things, you realize that there really is no difference. But the way that the personality or the individualized expression of the human being is being expressed is very much individual. But during shadow work, you are intentionally recognizing parts of yourself that you rejected. So if somebody's acting like a total asshole, you will look at like, okay, cool, they're being an asshole. I must be rejecting this aspect of myself. But it doesn't mean necessarily that you're rejecting the asshole part of yourself. So you will look at like, well, what does that person get by acting that way, right? They're getting what they want, right? Even if they're having to make a big fuss about it and like walk all over people or whatever, they're showing you the opposite extreme of the gift that your vow that you took whenever you were younger to never be an asshole or to never step on anyone's toes. They're showing you the extreme of what you are holding back in yourself, right? So in that, you find a gift. And the gift is that they get what they want, okay? And so what you need to realize is the vow that you took to never step on anyone's toes and to never be an asshole and never hurt anybody's feelings or whatever, because when you did this one time when you were 4, like it scarred you, right? You learned it wasn't safe, that you would be rejected, that you would be whatever the case may be. And so with that vow, you took away a gift from yourself, which is to get what you want, right? To be able to ask for what you want, to be able to receive the things that you want, because you equate getting what you want with being an asshole. It's the same with money. People cut themselves off from money all the time because they think rich people are greedy, because that's what they were told, right? That rich people are evil. Like all kinds of crazy shit about people with money. You have these codes and these vows stuck inside your body that will not allow you to experience the gift of what money actually brings to humanity. So that would be something that a light worker might do. Like they might do like a heavy year focused on it, or a heavy 6 months focused on it, and maybe never do it again. Or maybe they're managing their shadow for their entire life, and maybe they do it like once every 3 months or once every 6 months or whatever, just to keep up with making sure that the evolution rate, the rate in which they're evolving is still like clear of shadow and still being able to be non-judgmental and show up in place of love and unity and non-separation, right? And non-duality. Even though they totally live in duality because they're light workers. They focus on the light, they focus on the good. And you'll hear people often say, well, you can't have light without the dark. You can't have the good without the bad. And light workers say that a lot because they have to remind themselves, right? Because they're still on the spectrum. A light worker and a shadow worker is like, that's still very much on the spectrum, but a dark worker is also on that spectrum, right? So chaos, what I work with is chaos. So like that's from the void. You, if you saw my Instagram, you saw I made a devotional candle to Hecate. Like I see Hecate as like the mother of the void, right? The infernal goddess, and I see that outside of the spectrum of the light grid, right? Like where light and shadow exists. I don't necessarily see the dark or the void, the pitch black, as on that spectrum, but you know, that could be argued, and I'm not really interested in arguing it because I just don't know maybe if I'm articulating it the way that I see it or not. But I do know that chaos is not on that grid. So that's why I go with chaos worker. Anyways, back to that. So when a person realizes that there's something outside of being a light worker, which is a lot of people are thinking that they're light workers, but they continue to be unhappy regardless of how much work that they're doing, okay? Something that a lot of light workers will do is they will get caught up in service to others and they will forget their own like self. They will get so much pleasure out of serving other people, helping other people, and putting other people's needs before their own. And some of them, the true light workers, do take care of themselves and others, right? They're actually making a huge difference because they do know how to take care of themselves. But a lot of the time, people who are shadow workers, I kind of look at it like this, like the shadow workers are more blunt, more bold, will say whatever the fuck they want when they want, and even if they're judged for it, they don't care. They're naturally destructive types of people, especially when they're not conscious, and they're kind of selfish and they're kind of out for themselves. But whenever you make that way of being conscious, it can be incredibly helpful because you still do have this desire to serve. You still have this desire to help other people become conscious and to wake them up, because you get to a place where you're like, this is dumb. I can't just be the only person in my life that's awake right now, right? Like I can't just be like alone in this, because then you get like, what's the point of living? And you know, all you get like in a really bad spot. So I see a lot of the time light workers are more focused on service to others. But if they do not pay attention to themselves, they will get sick. And it's most of the time when I can tell the difference between a light worker and a shadow worker is a light worker that stays in mental illness, that stays in physical illness. And it's because they are actually meant to be in service to self. And I have the personal belief that you need to be in service to self before you can be of service of actual real value to anybody else. Because if you're not focused on yourself in the mastery of yourself, think about like you're going out there and you're presenting solutions to a person's problem or a problem with consciousness that's coming from a shadow place of not knowing how to take care of yourself, of not knowing how to be like the main character in your life, right? So somebody put it really well. I'm actually going to read you their comment because people always are asking about like, what's the difference between a shadow worker and a light worker? And they said this so good. Let me see. Some make you look at what's in your shadows and others help you grow your light. So that's a really good distinction between, and that was from Penguin. Her name is Bethany J. Penguin 3254. some help you look at your shadows, and some help you grow your light. So obviously help you grow your light would be light workers. They help you grow the light inside of you. And shadow workers are ones that will help you that will be like hard on you, that will be like, giving you the hard hitting truth, that aren't going to baby you, that aren't going to like nourish and baby your trauma and help you to stay in shadow whenever really it's just a flip that needs to be switched. And honestly, I don't know if that's what shadow workers do, but I do know that they have much more of a hard approach to things. An unconscious shadow worker is always going to make you look at your shadows. Always, they're going to be the person that you're judging. They're going to be the person that you're like, oh, that person is don't like them. An unconscious shadow worker is going to do that. A conscious shadow worker, however, is still going to be quite destructive, but in like a way that empowers you, right? It is going to be in a way that's like, I really needed to hear that. A light worker is going to point out the good stuff. They're going to be like, oh, well, yeah, that does suck, but at least you have this, this, and this, right? At least let's look at the stuff that does rock in your life. Let's look at that. Let's pay attention to what's going on over here, and not like that bad thing that just happened to you. Like, let's not pay attention to your car getting T-boned. Like, a shadow worker is going to be like, okay, well, what kind of energy were you holding? Like, let's look at what kinds of thoughts were you thinking? What was going through your mind? Like, who were you judging? What was happening to you, right? And this can look a lot like victim blaming. It can look a lot like shaming somebody. Like, it can look like that. It can almost even feel like that if you're in the outside looking into a situation. But if a person is working with a shadow worker, they are going to know that it is 100% for their best interest. It's like, oh yeah, let me look at this. Actually, let me look at this. Okay. Now, both of these things can actually evolve once you I guess the goal of both, right? So, the goal of the light worker and the goal of the shadow worker would essentially be to live like the most creative expression, right? Or not even, that's what I think of. That's what I think of as like a chaos worker, is a person who inspires people to live in their most creative and brilliant expression available to them. I think a shadow and a light worker's main goal is the same. It's like the same side. It's a different side of the same coin. So that same coin would be the goal, and that is like unity with the divine, with the source, right? And it's like living the truth of yourself as a divine being. Okay. And so what I noticed happened to me is, I don't know, a few months ago, maybe in like February or something, maybe it was even January, I had a really insane moment of clarity that showed me that I am not going to reunite with source, that I am not going back to the place from whence I came, right? But I also didn't come from that place either. And I think what happens when we separate ourselves from that grid completely, which is a way more advanced thing, like you really need to do all of your shadow work. Like you need to step into a container and hold the energy that it takes long enough for you to alchemize all the things that tie you to your human blueprint. And that is whenever you step outside of light work or shadow worker business, and then you realize that you're actually playing with chaos and that you're creating worlds, and that, from here you're going on to create your own shit. And like right now you're actually creating your own shit, and that there's nothing that anyone could ever do or say that could actually have any real impact on you, because you know that you're creating it right now as it is. And you don't have like feelings of I would say, like, sympathy for human emotions. Like, you don't have sympathy or, I don't know, empathy. Like, I have empathy still. Like, I totally feel people's emotions and even their pain. Like, when my husband's home, my back kills me because his back kills him. And when he's home, I'm like, dude, how the fuck do you live like this? Like, how? Ugh, I could not. But then after like 3 days, I'm like just starting to get used to it. And then he leaves, and I'm like, what the fuck? I had to go through all that pain for what? For what? Um, anyway, so yeah, I still have the energy, and I'm hella psychic. Like, it's just hmm, when you really, really, really fucking realize and know, and it's not having faith, it's not having like a belief or whatever. It's like you get to a place where you know the fucking truth. Like, you know it, you've experienced it, you've experienced radical fucking changes in the way that your life presents itself, in the way that you express yourself. You realize so much in I can't tell you when it will happen for you, but all I can tell you is that an extraordinary amount of self discipline is required to be able to reach a place where you are willing to look somebody in the eyes and be like, you are totally giving all of your power away right now to this situation, and you are being a fucking victim, and that should not even be a thing, right? Like, you literally do not feel like anyone could be a victim without their fucking choice. And I know that this gets deep, this gets fucked up, this gets into little kid stuff, right? And like, I'm not even trying to go there on a YouTube live stream, but I can't explain why that stuff happens, right? But I do know that there's so much beyond what human consciousness can comprehend. And whenever you do apply yourself to the work that is required of you to be able to completely unhook from that system of being, you will see it for yourself. There's no way in hell I could even try to convince anybody that this would be true. And there's no reason for me to want to either. So it's equal in that way of like, I don't have to fight to prove to you anything. I do not have to argue with you to convince you of anything, right? If I'm doing what I'm here to do, that is what matters most to me. And it's actually that's the only thing that matters to me. And so it's like, I don't know, that's the way that I see the differences between these different fields of consciousness, if you will, or codes of consciousness. Some of them are codes and some of them are fields all on their own. So I'm going to read you guys' comments. Thank you, Nicole. Everyone go like this video, please. Thank you, darling. Hey, and thank you for the Cash App. I appreciate you so much, but you still did not message me on Instagram. And I say for you to message me for a reason, dude. For a reason. I want you to message me because I want to see like what your resistance is. Okay. Okay. Let me read y'all's messages here. Okay. There it is. I want to start shadow work, but I'm worried because I have cancer. My energy isn't the greatest. Will get in the way. I've held out too fucking long. The main goddess I work with is Hecate. Awesome. I'm so happy that you work with Hecate. So Cancer is related to held anger. It is like extreme fucking resentment, like extreme resentment made manifest. And so shadow work is not even going to kind of be a bad thing for you to start doing. If anything, it's going to be a huge leap and it will unlock so much energy that you have locked in that's like shrouded in shame, that's just like covered up, and it's like little packets of energy in your body that you release. And a lot of the reasons why shadow work even works is because what you're doing is like, you're imagine that you're like taking the light of consciousness, those person is a little flashlight, and you're just turning it on and you're pointing it at that shadow, and you're putting light on top of a shadow, which now it becomes light again, right? So you're shining the light of consciousness onto something that has been hidden from you, right? To keep you safe up to this point. And that's all it is. It's there, it's coded with you to keep you safe in survival, and to also to help you learn certain lessons that you decided that you wanted to learn in this lifetime. Like, a lot of the time, I mean, we don't really talk about this too much, but like pretty much everything that I live by is based on the premise that when we incarnate as humans, we like come onto the planet with like a soul family, like a bunch of soul people, make this plan for how everybody's life is going to be, and some of them come first and some of them come later, but like you have like a soul family, and and just also people that you're going to run into, like a divine meeting, where you're gonna run into them, and they're gonna play a part in your life in making you come awake, or to create a shadow, to create trauma, to whatever, like whatever it is that you have, like these soul contracts with people, as you're coming onto the planet to fulfill, right? And that's why I don't like judge people. And that's, I guess, why it's really easy for me to see every side of the story, because I've, for the past 15 years or so, fuck, no, probably like 11 or 12 years, have lived from the premise that I decided this, that guy that raped me, I decided he was going to rape me. And that is not me taking the blame for what happened, right? Like, that's not me taking any sort of blame, but I realized that that made me even stronger in who I am, that molded me in a certain specific way that I would not have been molded had it been another way. And it also made me safer to an extent. It made me more careful. Okay. And I needed to be careful to experience the next like 5 years. I needed to play it careful then. Right. And so that experience lined me up for something else. But luckily, I have this knowledge, and there's a lot of people that don't have this fucking knowledge on the planet, that are running around, that are just like cannot escape their trauma, right? So everything that I do comes from the premise that like I wanted to experience life this way, right? I wanted to experience life this way. And I also think there are some of us here who are incarnating as humans for the first time. Like, I've had a past life memory by visiting the Akashic records, but I also didn't really go that deep into it. It could have been like somebody in my family. I didn't even ask anything. All I got was the name Bethany Shriver, 1856, and then I saw that she was an herbalist and that she died because of being an herbalist as a witch, right? And that was all I saw. I don't know if that was my past life or not, but that gave me, like, I couldn't grow plants to save my life. Like, I would kill everything. But after I had that experience in the Akashic records, I now, like, plants thrive around me, right? And so, like, all of this, looking into the hidden, into the realms of the unconscious, we are able to discover so much. We're able to release so much trapped energy that we have stored inside of our bodies, that are causing us to be sick, that are causing us to be low energy, that are causing us to not have any fucking power or say in our lives whatsoever. And it keeps you stuck. It keeps you stuck in shadow consciousness. And that is what the majority of the world is operating from. But yeah, I mean, a long answer, but Alexis, I think shadow work would be a great place for you to start, because I'm sure you have a lot of anger to like be able to release. So if I can't stand someone because I see them as manipulative, there is a manipulative part of me in my shadow. So not necessarily. So if you see somebody as manipulative, what they're doing is they're most likely showing you the opposite extreme of what you're not allowing yourself to do, right? Or be, right? So it would be um if they're consciously manipulating, then I mean, that I could see how you'd be like, "Oh, that's fucked up," or whatever, but it would still be like the extreme of you just not being able to speak what you want at all. It would be you not being willing to like stand for yourself and to like get what you want. And you decided that a long time ago that you could not stand for yourself and that it was gross to actually get what you want. And it was like a bad fucking move, right? And whether you remember making that choice or not, yeah, they're showing you the opposite extreme or the opposite polarity of the actions that you are um, repressing in yourself, or they're showing you the opposite polarity of how you're being, but in the middle of that is the gift of like what you're not allowing yourself to experience in your life. So you'd need to find out what that is. Like, what is a manipulative person getting from being manipulative? And there's probably going to be more than one thing. And then you find out like how you can actually give yourself that gift in your life, right? So if it was not being able to actually get what you want or to speak what you need, right? Or to speak like your desires or requirements to another human being, right? Then you would make the conscious effort to figure out what conversation needs to be had so that you can speak your boundaries, your expectations for the way that this relationship goes now. Um, yeah, like this is what I need and this is what I will have. You're going to find a way that you've been not letting yourself speak what you need. And then you're going to go out there and you're consciously going to speak what you need. And by doing that, you're acting in accordance with the truth that you do have power over your life and that you don't have to be a victim to manipulative people anymore, because they're not going to show up for you anymore, because that's not a shadow anymore. Once a shadow has been exposed to the light, so to speak, or exposed to consciousness, it's no longer a shadow. A shadow is only something that is hidden from you, right? When you don't realize you're doing it. And so then once it becomes conscious for you, every time you catch yourself not saying what you want to say or not asking for what it is that you need, in the back of your mind, you're going to be like, just fucking say it. Just say it. And the more you practice that, the less you're going to see manipulative people show up in your life. And if you do see them show up in your life, it's not going to trigger you at all. And if it does continue to trigger you, then there's a next step for you. There's quite a big step for you. Goddess of love and destruction. It's who I work with. She helped me so much. I never had a bad experience with her either. You know what? I need to talk about my experience with Hecate. I told Gray that I would like over a month ago, and I still haven't. I've been really neglecting my YouTube. But it's for good reason. Like it's not because of not wanting to make YouTube videos. It's just that, I'm like allocating my attention in several different places right now. We've got group coaching going on, which is pretty much every day because we have a Discord server that we talk in every day, and I'm doing a lot of work with them. And then we also have meetings every Wednesday, and then I have private client, and then I have TikTok, and I'm starting to do Instagram more. And so like when you're building yourself like on platforms and stuff, like all the experts say that you really need to focus on one platform and let that be your main platform, because you don't have enough hours in the day to spread it out all over all of the platforms. But what I noticed that I do is I circulate. Like I'll either be doing TikTok like really hard, or I'll be doing YouTube really hard, or like lately I've been doing Instagram and TikTok at the same time. But then I'll get a little bit worn out of TikTok, and like usually when my feed starts flooding with like witch talk drama, then I usually just put my phone down and I just come over here and I'll chill with you guys. But yeah, you can always follow me on Instagram, and I'm on there like every day, and you can always join the Discord, and you can always also join the group coaching too. If this stuff resonates with you and you want to like move past it and move totally into like your personal empowerment, like let's fucking do it. Just DM me on Instagram and we'll talk about if it's a good move for you. Yeah, you got to go through bad to. Hi, Serpent Ascendancy. What's up, dude? Let me see. It went all the way back down to the bottom, so I don't know. Here we are. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Being a parent is a lot like being a shadow worker. You have to show the kiddos when they do something wrong and why it was wrong for them to learn and grow. Yeah, that's a pretty cool connection to make. Everyone go like this video. Thank you. I already said thank you for that, but thank you again. That was really sweet. Do you know I found out that like a third of the people that watch my videos are not even subscribed? And it's like the same, like the number is say like the same. It says like 66% of people that watch your videos are subscribed to your channel. Isn't that weird? That's weird. I thought it was. Okay. Fucking love moments of clarity. They rock my world. Hell yeah. I know that you already left, but when you watch the replay, hi Ashley. I mean, bye Ashley. Good night. Sweet dreams. Okay. Where's Paula? Oh, there it is. Where did Paula's thing go? Oh yeah. Yeah. I already read that. Cool. Okay, messaging tomorrow, no fail, dude. Didn't get a notification. Okay, my resentment is from my hysterectomy when I was 19. I knew it was for the best, but I felt it took my womanhood away. So I know exactly where that resentment is. Mm-hmm. Yeah, fuck. Yeah, that's a lot, dude. That's a lot. And so now you're gonna process that. Like, you're gonna realize like that whole situation has all of my fucking power. Like, it might have took what society calls your womanhood, but like whenever it comes down to it, if you live your life knowing that you are a spirit in a body, you know that you are not a woman. Like, hello, right? But I mean, that doesn't invalidate your resentment towards like having your womanhood taken away, right? But like, you had a hysterectomy that was caused by something else first, right? Like when you were 19, like you had a hysterectomy. So there was something else leading to that hysterectomy. So whatever caused that, which is a lot of the times I think is also cancer, right? And so there must have been another deep, deep resentment that caused that hysterectomy too. It's always like unprocessed emotions. Like whenever emotions start, they're in your emotional body, but whenever they're left undealt with, they just travel deeper and deeper and deeper into you, and then they manifest as a physical illness. And there's not like scientific research for that, but there's a lot of holistic health doctors that will absolutely, tell you that that's the truth. And a lot of doctors have been murdered for speaking the truth. And the pharmaceutical industries don't like that. They don't like that at all, because if people knew that they were all powerful and could heal themselves, they'd be out of business. I mean, there'd still be a lot of business because people would rather not pay attention to that. People don't want to put in the work. Not everybody, anyways. But yeah, there must be something else too. I'm just guessing. Okay, no more bullshit, Nicole. No more bullshit, dude. Does X and E mean anything to you? Keep having the same dream. Where is tracing? Spoke to Orly, been trying to figure this out. Mm-mm. Are you sure it's not in YX? I don't know. I'm not trying to like lead you towards Nyx or anything, but my first experience and encounter with a goddess was with Nyx in a dream. And I didn't even believe in like spirits and beings and stuff at that time. It was like it was weird. It was really weird. I didn't even know who she was. No one has your knowledge, dude. You're so fucking brilliant and deep. Well, thank you. I'm sure that there are people with the same knowledge and access to it. And that's why I think like I think there's a lot of people who, this is our first incarnation. That's why the population is so fucking large right now, is because I think that it's not the only reason why, but I mean, it could be the cause of why, like the boom in population could be because several of us knew that it was during this moment in time, whether it's not a blip to us humans, but in the grand scheme of things, it's a blip on the time frame scale of humanity, that during this time frame there would need to be lots of other beings who are not hooked into human consciousness, that can easily unhook from it and to remember way more fast than humans that have been trapped in this cycle, this karmic cycle of death and rebirth, right? I think that there's a lot of us here who just like remember much more quickly because we aren't necessarily as coded as a human who's lived lifetime after lifetime after lifetime here, right? Like some of us could have like 2 or 3 lives, or none. Like this could be your first human life. You love shadow work. There's also, so there's forms of shadow work too that deal with like spirit work and stuff. But most of the time, whenever we are talking about shadow work in the spiritual enlightenment types communities, like on TikTok, where that's kind of the big thing, usually it's having to do with like the Jungian version of shadow work. So just wanted to make that clarification there. Oh, and I was trying to say something earlier too. I was trying to say that I basically see that people who are like really deep into the spiritual communities, like the love and light communities, or really doing the damn thing, like really living in it and like thriving there, those are the light work. And what I see is that people from the witch community are mostly like shadow workers and stuff. So it's kind of cool because like you're both working towards like personal empowerment and this evolution, but like you can clearly tell that the witches are like more prone to be shadow workers. But that's not to say that some witches are not absolutely light workers, and that some spiritual people aren't absolutely shadow workers or dark workers or chaos workers, right? But I also see that like being like a chaos worker is an evolution of a lot of fucking alchemy and lots of shadow work and lots of facing the fucking truth of who you are. And that's not easy to do. Absolutely got my period when I was in first grade. Dude, oh my word. Wow. Yay, Paula, welcome from TikTok. Not having social media makes you less of a loser, actually. Yeah, dude, it's awesome to not live your life on social media. It's really awesome. That's why I don't use Facebook. It's just really like not the best vibes to put yourself in. It's just not good vibes. It just doesn't feel good. Definitely going to join your Discord in the meeting on Wednesday. Don't have social media, though. I know I'm a loser. You're not a loser. Alexis, just make an Instagram, dude. Just make an Instagram and message me. The meetings on Wednesdays are from my group coaching, which is a membership. It's a paid membership. but my Discord is still like, I have a main area that's like free for people to just like come and talk and hang out. And there's like so many channels on there too. So you can pretty much talk about anything you want. But if you want to do like deep fucking work, like, hey, this is what I want from my life, this is what I want for my life, what I do is I get you in there and basically figure out the way for you to get from where you are to where you want to be in as little time as possible, where you're literally collapsing time between like what you think it would take to get there. You're also collapsing illusion, all of the limitation that has been holding you back to this point. You are like constantly collapsing that shit over and over until it's gone. And yeah, if that is something that you're interested in doing, and like living your life completely empowered, like empowered from the place of like, there's not a goddamn thing on this planet that could actually take my power from me. And I know that. And so I'm going to go out and I'm going to live my life the way that I know I'm meant to live my life. I'm going to do the things that I know I came here to do. And I don't give a fuck what anybody thinks about it. That's like the place that we are all chilling at. So yeah. And I haven't really started incorporating ritual and stuff into that group yet, but I did just order tons and tons of stuff and I did an unboxing, but we're going to start incorporating ritual into it. I wasn't sure if I wanted to or not, but I think that it's necessary now. And I'm also bringing a couple of clients on with me to Black Flame Alchemy. And it's turning into somewhat of a collaboration process. So I'm excited to see how that unfolds. And yeah, but I'm excited to put out like the magical like empowerment tools and like writing a book. And I'm also writing a workbook. And I'm also making 2 different card decks, like tarot or oracle cards. And there's a lot in the works, like a lot. Like consecrated candles are coming. I already made like the first tester one and it's fucking alive. Dude, it is alive and really fucking potent. It smells so good. Like I just want to like be able to pack everything up and just send it out right now. But I know that it requires like working and, you know, putting words on the paper. I've already started writing the book and the workbook is almost complete. The card deck's like so easy. I just need to figure out if I'm doing the art for them or if I'm going to hire somebody to do the art for them. And then I can put those to print like easy, no problem. Like that would take less than a week. But mainly right now I'm focusing on like getting all of the items that I need for the like the candles and like the spiritual bath stuff that go with the ritual kits and like the sprays and stuff like that. Yeah, it's a lot. A lot of stuff is happening right now. And I just don't even know how it keeps happening. I just keep showing up for life and more stuff just keeps dropping in and like being created. And I'm like, this is really fucking awesome. It is well beyond the capacity my imagination holds. So that's all extremely fun. I don't know where I got off on this tangent. Oh yeah, talking about the group coaching thing, I think. But anyways, yeah. Let's see. Hi, Black Tower. Three, 2, 1 subscribers. Yeah, that's cool. You see 3, 2, 1 and 1, 2, 3 every day. Oh, that's awesome. Thank you for pointing that out. Okay, cool. Do you guys have any more questions about like the shadow work stuff? I hope that I did a thorough enough job explaining because it's literally like what you need to do over and over and over. And then you get to a part also where once you're realizing that like you're projecting or that you're literally manifesting certain experiences in your life in order to reveal shadow aspects of yourself or things that you're giving your power to. And then you like stop doing that because you stop judging that and you realize that you've been like missing out on this gift for your whole life. And that's why things manifest the way you do. It's because you perceive things the way that you perceive them. And once your perception starts to shift, you start being able to catch your own thoughts as illusion and as the lies that you tell yourself, the conditioning. You really decondition yourself. And it's a rigorous deconditioning process. And that's why I am making the workbook and the ritual kits and stuff to assist in that process specifically. But a lot of people that are asking me questions about shadow work right now are like, just trying to get started. And I don't want to overwhelm you guys, but you really do need to focus mostly on forming a sense of self-discipline and being willing to do whatever the fuck it takes to be able to step fully into your power and live your most authentic, most beautiful, beautifully expressed life, no matter what it looks like to anyone else, no matter what anybody else might think or not think. Like, it doesn't need to matter. Look, there's a Kyle just said, how do you go about starting shadow work? I did talk about it a lot. I don't know how long you've been on, but I did talk about it in this video if you want to go back and watch it again. I don't know when you came on, but I'm assuming it's pretty much now. Yeah. Okay. Willing to do whatever it takes. I can do it. I love that. I live for that shit, man. I fucking live for it. Live for it. That's so cool. Oh, why don't you have an Instagram then, Alexis? You should be totally sharing that stuff. Why don't you make the Instagram and post some pictures like that? Even if you don't have any followers or whatever, like it doesn't matter. Just post some of the stuff that you have and make and do. And yeah, let me see. Oh, don't be sorry. It's all good. I'm so happy for your support and love always, Kyle. You have been like so sweet of always like since seeing you. Like I don't know, I feel pulled to your energy. So that's pretty cool. I love it. Anyways, okay. Wow, I've been on for 56. And if I go over an hour, this will take several hours to upload. So I guess I'm gonna go. And you guys, if you're watching the replay and you have questions or something that you want me to make videos about, then just put it there. And if I feel like it, I'll do it. And if not, then maybe I'll do it another time. I try to do what y'all ask, but really if I don't have like that nudge of like inspired action or recognize that I'm just not doing this because I'm like, not making it matter when it really does actually matter to me, then I'll do it. Like this video, I've been putting this video off for so long, and tonight I was like, just fucking do the video. I almost went to sleep instead. Just fucking do the video. Just do it. Just do it. Why aren't you doing it? Like that's dumb. Like that doesn't even make any sense. Just do the fucking video. Yeah. Yes. Okay, cool. I'll talk to you tomorrow. And I'll talk to you tomorrow too, Nicole. Hey, Soul Serpentine. Hi, Hombrecito. All right, you guys. Have fun smoking your weed. And I guess we'll talk soon. Okay? See y'all later. Thanks for joining.